Ladies and gentlemen, punishment is the actions that purportedly restore the justice toward the victims. But is that the harsh punishments that the opposition try to suggest is the only way to restore the justice? We didn't think so. There's a restorative justice that we propose to you, which is the lighter punishments toward perpetrators, and it is even better since it dedicates perpetrators to society, and at the end it will be help to society to find new drugs and voluntarily give the new prescriptions of the drug as well. Before proceeding to the further explanations, let me give you several rebuttals that intertwine with my mappings today as the government's whip. Firstly, the debate started with the opening government that established several justifications. Firstly, on how the opening government has justified why drug trial is as a form of punishment, why should be the prisoner to take this as a voluntary actions. Second one, how this would be an agreement and a consensus of the prisoners, and there's a mechanisms, and there's also transparency of the mechanisms. The opening government, no thank you, the opening government has also given us the idea, but this is not degrading the values of prisoner as well as justice itself. Meanwhile, in the opposition side of the house, they're still arguing, but this will be degrading the human nature, the human's values. It will be creating the bad impacts toward perpetrators. But we think it is not necessarily true. Starting from the case that has been brought from the members of the government as well as the closing oppositions. Firstly, they stated about the desire and psychological distress that the perpetrator has during the jails. We think it is not necessarily true, ladies and gentlemen. Why? We do not try to generalizing one side to the another. We do not creating 100% of prisoners to choose to become a volunteers in the drug trials. What we are providing is that giving them the choices to contribute to society, to help society find the new prescriptions of the drugs. We think that the idea of the desires and psychological distress is just kinds of assumptions that the member of the government try to deliver at the very first place. Yes, please.
You said about contribution, but the extent of punishment is that when they are living in jail, is contribute something to society because they are doing like voluntary service as well, ladies and gentlemen. That's the point happen in jail. Thank you.
Well, the opening oppositions try to state that the amnesty and rehabilitation is enough in the very first place, but I would like to explain it later and why the punishment of rehabilitation and amnesty is not enough. Well, moving on to the case in the opening oppositions, they stated 2 points of idea. Firstly, in the first speakers, he stated about the bad mechanism that will be happens during the drug trials. But we think it's not true, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because I will explain to you the 4 phase mechanisms in conducting drug trials. As our team has already said over and over again, there will be 4 mechanisms that will be conducted in the drug trial. Firstly, there will be a test in the computer. And then after that, it will be tested in animal. Secondly, it will be tested to the whole people. For example, the people who will be paid as being volunteers, or in this case, it's the prisoners that we're giving the choice to them as become volunteers in this drug trial. Thirdly, the phase is that we would like to give the drug trial to the sick people. And the 4th phase is that we're going to distribute the drug if the drug succeeds to help the people of Ebola, for example. While the opposition just giving us the assumptions that we will giving the drug trials to directly for the sick people. Well, ma'am, our mechanism is clear that we would like to give the whole healthy prisoner first because we want to see the conditions of the healthy people who embrace the drugs trial itself. We didn't just giving an uncategorizing drugs to the sick people at the very first place. So our mechanism is clear and the idea about the mechanisms is not true. The second point from the opening oppositions is that It is not fair for the prisoners because they are circulating by the vulnerable circumstances. They don't have a bargaining power. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's not necessarily true. Why? Because we have already provided the mechanisms as well. There will be a legal paper that will be signed by the prisoners. They will be really aware and realize that they're doing this because they're not to be being pushed or some kind like that. There will be also a negotiations for those kinds of perpetrators who willing to be volunteers. Yes, ma'am.
Their decisions are impaired, ladies and gentlemen. It is between you go to jail or you go to drug trial. We do believe that it is not. We do believe that it is not volunteer at all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, what they still keep stating is that it will be creating a huge amount of demands of the drug trials. What we're just giving you is just a choice. Even you are just take the choice or not. We're just not pushing you that you are directly choosing a volunteer as a drug trials. No. Now moving to, I would like to glorify my members. My member has given us several points. Firstly, my member has extended the ideas of the volunteers. The demands of the lighter punishments is a high, and the demands of the new drugs is also high. We see that there's a win-win solutions in these circumstances. The prisoner could fulfill the punishment and as well as providing proper method in a drug trials. There will be a consent to those kinds of perpetrators who would like to be volunteers in a drug trial. Second idea, why other punishments such as rehabilitation and amnesty is not good? Firstly, that rehabilitation is not equal as well as in become a volunteers in drug trials because they cannot repay they cannot giving a direct repays to the society. There's no contributions at all and there's no restorations at all. The third idea is that we have already give you the idea that we do not negate notions of human. There's the room of negotiations, there's the right of the prisoners to conduct this. The last one is that we do not negate the idea of justice. We give you a contribution to serve the punishment directly towards society. So basically, based on the rebuttals and the mapping that I have told you before, I close my case. Thank you.